From the shop series. We do this every Thursday at noon, although today we were a little bit late. We are launching the 100 listing challenge, so you guys can see I'm gonna list non-clothing, even though that's my main gig, because people were complaining that I only talk about selling clothing. So let's talk about other things. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us okay, because we're still trying out the wired microphone. Okay, so there was a couple of things with the challenge. I had not updated the formula correctly, so it wasn't subtracting shipping. So I fixed that. So go in here, and then update the spreadsheet. The goal of this 100 listing challenge is not speed, it's to understand how eBay works. So all the fees, we're going to track everything from start to finish, all the packaging materials, we're going to count all that into it to figure out how much profit we made, because I say to really know what you're doing on eBay, you don't need to be big, but you have to be clear. I apologize for the train in the background. You have to be really clear with how much money you're actually making, and you have to have a process that's repeatable. So that's why I don't like selling so many random items, because it's not as repeatable. But we'll go into the items that we listed: pair of shoes, a Patagonia case, Pikachu cards, or PSA graded card. This silver I can't list, so I'm not sure why. I have a 10-ounce bullion, or I don't know if it's bullion, but it's in the bullion category, and it's not letting me list this 10-ounce bar. So let me know in the comment section below why that might be. It says I don't meet minimum standards, and I don't know why, because I'm top rated seller. Vitamix pitcher, Nike soccer ball, a recorder, a gimbal, a mechanical keyboard, 2 sets of Legos, and an iPhone. So that's what I have listed so far. So I want to address something before we hit Q&A, but go ahead, smash the like button, throw your question in the chat so we can answer it. But a lot of people are asking me about this $600 thing that the IRS is doing this year, and a lot of people disagree with me, saying that there's going to be less resellers because of this, but I don't agree with that at all, because if you look at the trend for people searching for the term reselling, it's higher. So more people are looking for how to resell. And these include people who had a job, people who already were used to paying taxes. So the $600 is not going to bother them. It never bothered me. So people who are more professional are going to be reselling to earn extra money. So I think there's going to be way more resellers. With the $600 rule, if you guys have any questions, I also have that tax series with Mark, and his $100 discount code ends today. So that's bit.ly/reseller tax 101. I have that in my links. Find it somewhere if you want to get $100 off his tax course. But there's going to be way more resellers, not less. It's been the same every single year. It's a great way to make extra money, and it's not like MLM where you need to meet up with people and give them a whole bunch of money to start. You can start with no money. So hopefully there's some questions.
Yeah, actually, Tom, thank you for the tip. Tom says you need to be registered to sell precious metal.
Okay, so I need to register to sell precious metal, so I will go through that process so other people can take a look at that. And I have put, can we go back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have put the box with the other items up here, just so that I can have it separate for this series and talk about it. And you guys can see how random items still fit in my inventory system. It's identical. The only thing that would be kind of odd from my shelves is this Vitamix pitcher is a little bit too tall, but I could lay it flat inside the box and it would still fit. I just wanted to fit it all in one box so that you guys can visually see my system works regardless of how random the items are. So, you know, these are the 12 items that I listed right here, and it works with any system.
Off-topic question from Chad. How do you ship a clothing item like a jacket that doesn't fit in a bag?
Okay, so let's go over there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of different ways to ship items that don't fit in the poly mailer. So the main way that we ship on a poly mailer is this 10 by 13 size bag is the main way that we ship, right? So if it doesn't fit in this, and we ship in the flat rate envelope, which is this. If it doesn't fit in this, then we fit in the padded flat rate, which is here, right? And if it doesn't fit in that, then we go Tyvek envelope, which is this one from the post office. This ships 0.2 cubic feet. So if you want to learn how to do cubic shipping, you can just ask me. We won't go over it in this live, but if it doesn't fit in that, then I go in even larger, 14 by 18. And if it doesn't fit in that, usually I ship it in one of the boxes that the post office free supplies come from. So I try to do all free shipping supplies, but I did order some boxes up here from eBay for super duper large orders, because a lot of those orders ship FedEx or UPS, and so you can't use the post office packaging, like the free packaging from the post office when it's free packaging. So I have boxes so that I can ship larger orders, and right now my average order size is 2, so I am getting a lot more bulk orders recently.
There's one question from Patricia. Hi Chris, why do you think my jewelry is not selling?
Okay, so one of the hottest categories on The RealReal is actually unbranded jewelry. If your jewelry is not selling, I would recommend joining our group, because we have a dedicated jewelry call and you can ask specifically what your listings are and why they're not selling. But most likely, the title is not complete, so people aren't able to find it. Maybe you're not promoting listings high enough in that category if it's very competitive. Maybe you're priced too high and then your descriptions are not good. And then maybe you're not listing consistently, which is probably number one. eBay is, we joke that eBay is spiteful, but the way to keep the eBay engine going is to list every single day. And if you stop listing for a while and you worry about your sales slowing down and then you continue to not list, then you're in this downward spiral and you may never recover. So you got to move the other direction and continue to list every day, look at your listings. And if you're listing, let's say 10 items a day and you're not getting any sales, that's because those listings are bad. So you should be getting sales immediately when you start listing. It should not take longer than a couple days.
Question from Randy. Do you replace the same SKU number once your item is sold?
I don't. So the items are sequential. So you can see here, like this is number 788. Behind it is 791. So 789 and 790 sold already. Those numbers will never be used again. So the way I look at it is like a social security number. Every item gets a unique number and it's never used again. And I'm gonna go all the way to 1 million. Right now, the reason why I use 5 numbers is that way just the first 99,999 items will be the same system. And that's gonna take me until the middle of next year to reach that. So at that point, I'm just gonna add 1 more 0.
Question from Jake.
Yep.
Hey Chris, my eBay store has been thriving recently, largely to your help, but I haven't been sure about one thing. When should I ship FedEx or UPS rather than USPS?
Okay, so for me, FedEx is more convenient to go to. So if FedEx is around the same price as UPS, I'll pick FedEx because it's more convenient for me, because it's more expensive for me to drive to UPS. I'll do the same thing with the post office. If the post office is only $1 different, I'll ship priority instead of FedEx ground or UPS ground. But the short answer is pick whichever is cheapest. So factor in your time, factor in the shape of the box, enter the dimensions in the eBay, and it will give you the cheapest option. So don't forget to factor in your time though. A lot of people will, to save $5, use one FedEx, and then they'll make one more trip to the FedEx center, and I don't recommend doing that. You might as well list an extra item with that time.
Question from Anger Collections.
Yep.
Hello. I've been watching your videos lately and it's been an inspiration. As an online seller like you do and do high volume of orders, how much of an importance is sleep for you?
Very important. Well, I mean, at this point, if you decide to sell the same thing every day, you will get more and more and more sleep. I have time. I can make YouTube videos. I can hang out with my daughter all day because I sell the same thing. When we go back and look at if you are a reseller that sells in a bunch of different categories, so you sell a Vitamix pitcher, you sell shoes, you sell Legos, you sell soccer balls, then your sleep will suffer because you won't have enough time during the day, because it takes 20 minutes, in my opinion, to switch gears from one to the other, because you have to do more research. It takes longer to find the items. Also, you're going to be more inconsistent in your sourcing, and it's hard to say to people, give me all your super profitable items, because that's not how it works. So you're going to have to look through tons of stuff. But if you end up being a volume seller, you get more sleep because everything takes a lot less time. So, we're here in the middle of the afternoon. We're already done for the day. So, I mean, the store is already done operating at 12 o'clock. So in order to get to that stage, you have to have everything the same, because if everything is different, it literally takes a really long time to get everything done.
Question from Coach Liz. Do you recommend a site like List Perfectly to diversify where sales are coming from?
Never. Okay, I hate cross-listing now because I did it. I had robots, I had virtual assistants cross-listing, and you can't This is the analogy I'm going to use, and it needs to stick and it needs to go viral. If you suck on one platform, okay, it doesn't make sense to add another platform and also suck on that platform. If you're not doing really well on one platform, and I consider really well $1 million in revenue, because that's nothing. When you're running a small business, $1 million revenue is barely getting by after you subtract all the different expenses and you start getting in some employees. And 99.9% of people do not do $1 million in revenue. So you don't need the cross list. You need to focus on one platform. So I struggle with this because I see squirrel. I see this is worth something, this is worth something. But if you focus on one niche, you can make $100,000 profit easy. If you focus on multiple niches, you won't even make $20,000. I've looked at this. All the people on List Perfectly list 5 or 10 items a day. That's not going to get you anywhere because that's such a small number of items, and you're basically giving List Perfectly all of your money. If you're paying for the $70 subscription for List Perfectly, it's a great service for cross-listing, but cross-listing is horrible for your business. And I can tell when you get the difference between someone who sells on Poshmark, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, ThreadUp, The RealReal, 20 different platforms, that person is always broke. Okay, they're always also on social media talking about how many platforms they sell on. If you just pick one, you won't suck on that platform. So the fastest way to not suck is to work on one platform until you're good at it, and you're making it so that you can't improve when you cross list. You're just perpetually in suckiness, and that's the best way I can describe it because I did that. You know, I did $20,000 a month on Poshmark, turned it off. So I was doing 40,000 eBay, 20,000 Poshmark. I turned off Poshmark and my eBay sales went over 100,000. And now I don't have any stress. I'm never on my phone. I never need to share. I don't need to use List Perfectly or Vendu. No more virtual assistants. No more headaches. All that went away. All of these different companies just steal money from you. So the most valuable thing you can do is learn how to list. If you want to learn how to do that, you can join our Patreon group, patreon.com/theresellers podcast. In there, Tech and I are actually going to do like a master series where we go over the top ideas that we have. So because some people, they don't want to listen to our podcast. We have like over 1,000 hours of coaching and mentorship, but we're going to just try to make a shorter series for people in the future. So people will be able to listen to that and get the basics. But if you cross list, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And I can confidently say that now, and I'm pretty passionately against all those companies, even though in the past I've used all of them. I know how all these systems work. The one thing, I was talking to Harry Tornado yesterday about this, List Perfectly does store your listing in case eBay loses your listing, but I don't have, for me, the number of listings that eBay loses is rounds to zero. It's really rare. Sometimes an item goes missing, but usually that's because somebody offered and didn't pay and it dropped off and was canceled. It wasn't because eBay lost the listing, it was because I didn't renew the listing after somebody didn't pay. And now, sorry, that's a long answer, that you can click the box so buyers have to pay, which works most of the time, doesn't work all the time. You just have a lot less non-paying buyers, so you have a lot less cancellations, so that thing where your listings disappear doesn't happen as often.
What question from Jennifer?
Yeah.
What is the least amount of profit you will sell an item for?
I will sell an item at a loss if it makes sense. So as an example, if I'm trying to put you out of business and you're selling the same item as me and I have 10,000 of them and I can wait, I will sell all of them for a 1 penny loss to prevent you from making any money. So you go out of business, and then when you go out of business, I'll raise the price up. Luckily for you, I don't sell in any of those categories, but I will do that if that's what's necessary to actually get the deal. For me personally, if I am listing the item, I need to make at least $100,000. Otherwise, it's not worth it for me to do something random. If I'm going to do something random, it's so I can learn that category. So over time, I can turn into a volume business. So if I'm not going to make at least $100,000 in that category, I'm not going to do it. So I will talk about it on YouTube because YouTube I do for fun. But if I'm really trying to make a living, you just need to pick one thing. I have a friend that just sells vanilla. He makes $200,000 a year, just sells vanilla extract. Like, that's much better than cross-listing on 10 different platforms and making 20 grand the whole year. So full-time six-figure income or $20,000 part-time income, you're always on your phone, probably going to get a divorce because you never hang out with your family. That's what I see. I know all the resellers. I've hung out with all of them since 2017. If you sell on multiple platforms, you most likely are broke and most likely have no relationship with your friends, no hobbies, because you're so scatterbrained from trying to manage all these different platforms. It's too hard. It's hard enough to be good at one platform.
Question from John.
Yep.
Hi, Chris. I'm just starting out selling clothing.
Yep.
I've been trying to research what sells in my area.
Yep.
What 90-day sell-through rate of items should I be looking for? 50%, 80%, etc.
All right, this is really a difficult question because it depends what you price your item at. If you get Old Navy, which is I would consider not a very good brand, but you price it at 99 cents free shipping, it will still sell. So you need to figure out what margin you're comfortable with and how long you're willing to wait. So that's up to you depending on how much capital you have. The longer you wait, usually you can get a little bit more money. Not all the money. You know, we have a saying in our group, which is we'd rather have some of the money all the time than all of the money some of the time. So our group believes in fast churn, selling things within 3 months. So I would pick a margin that you're comfortable with, but it depends. Some people have a really low risk tolerance. They want their items to sell immediately, right? So I just listed those 12 items. I bet of the 12 items I listed, 2 of them will sell today in the first day, even without YouTube subscribers, because I have priced them a little bit under the market. Like example, the silver, right? If I price the silver for $5 under market, it will sell immediately. So it depends on what it is. In the clothing category, since most people don't need clothing immediately and it's not an investment, I would say a good sell-through rate is anything above 5% per month. So that sounds crazy, but I think that most clothing needs to go through one season. Okay, so depending on how you sell goods, one season means it goes through fall, winter, spring, summer. And depending on what you have, you give it the full marination period on eBay to sell, but it depends. Good brands will sell faster, worse brands will sell slower. There's no easy answer. You'll see when I list items, some will have free shipping, some won't have free shipping. If you're looking for a one-size-fits-all answer, you will lose on eBay because there's so much nuance to it. It's not black and white.
Question from Sales of the Unexpected. Do you promote your items? How do you clear stale items?
I promote my items at 1.1%. I am willing to go up to trending plus 20% because it just depends on what it is. If it is Merona, it's size extra small. So like we're looking for a non-fashionable, really skinny person. That's not very common in the United States. That's like a unicorn person. So maybe there's only 12 of those people in the entire United States. Maybe I need to promote that item at 89% in order for it to sell. But if I'm selling a CC Filson size extra large sweater and there's 60,000 guys looking for that sweater and I have one, I don't need to promote it at all. 0%, because there's 60,000 people looking for it and there's only 10 available on eBay, so it's gonna sell instantly. There's no reason to promote that item at all. So what I would say is it's difficult to do per item promoted listings, but I would in the beginning. If your store is small, under 1,000 items, maybe go in one by one and figure out what promoted listings you need. I recommend you pay as little as possible for it to still sell.
Question from JGB. I am sure that I missed this. Are you going to use the same store or start a new store for the variety of items?
Same store. I already did the separate store experiment and I did it twice. I did it once publicly in the Reseller Nirvana store. I did it privately in another store, and that store actually did the challenge faster. I did $30,000 in 3 months starting from scratch looking at publicly. And I did 99,000 doing it privately, because when you share your store on YouTube, if you're not saying like, hey, buy my stuff to your audience, if you're not doing it that way, it actually is slower because people will look at your store and not buy anything. I know that the brands that I talk about on YouTube, they suck now because everyone is buying the same thing. That's why I use brands like J. Crew and Madewell when I'm talking to you, because I try to keep the brands that sell super well to myself until it's too late. Like, once you've figured out that I've sold it, I've already sold out of it. That's what I'm trying to do.
Question from Chris. Do you ship the item in this Ziploc bag or
I
reuse them?
I ship it directly in this bag, and then I don't reuse it. And I don't think sorry, I don't think the bags are recyclable. So that is something that I am going to consider. The bags that I use are the zip top ones, so they can be reused. So I hope my customer can find use in the bag. But you know, right now they're not recyclable, and I don't want to store them without the bag because it gets too messy.
Question from Big Steak on the Grill.
Yep.
Hi, I'm thinking about selling dolls on eBay new in box. Never done this before. If a buyer's child injured itself on the toy, can they sue me for selling the item?
Definitely. They can sue you, they can sue the packaging company, they can sue the toy company, they can sue eBay. Anybody related to the transaction they can sue. So what I would do is I would include a suffocation label, which I did a video on that earlier, for the plastic bag, since that's probably the most dangerous part of it. And then hopefully the packaging on it says, this is a choking hazard, be careful with young kids, to try to shield you a little bit. But it's always a challenge to sell anything in the children's category because of that possibility. I would get general liability insurance for your company. Excuse me. Also, if you're going to sell in the kid category, general liability, and then maybe put some legalese in your listing saying, please monitor your children. I don't know the exact legalese, but you should put that in your listing if you're in the kid category. I know also on YouTube, I don't have a category for kids, but if I did, I'd have to have more hoops to jump through because it's more regulated.
Question from Happy Ton.
Yep.
Hello, Chris. If I bought clothes and shoes from the department store, should
Yep.
I sell as used or new?
Okay. It's up to you. I recommend selling it used if they're worn. Like a lot of items from the store, if they've been returned, they've been worn, and so they're not crispy new gift quality. You could list them in the pre-owned and say like new in the description. You can't say that in the title because eBay will block that. But I recommend over delivering, especially when you're just getting started. You don't want any negative feedback, so you want to over deliver. And if you take great pictures, list it in the pre-owned category, and yours is in the best condition, you'll sell for the most.
Question from Avery.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Chris. Do you use thank you cards with your packages?
I used to, so I'm going to reuse the thank you card. I had the QR code on that so they could scan it and go into my store. So I sold 50,000 items with that card, and I only made $60 in AdSense. So it did, I mean, in the eBay partner network. So that's like a horrible sell-through rate for people actually converting from that. So what I might actually do is I don't know if this is bad juju, but I'm thinking about putting an Amazon link on my eBay thank you card, because one, Amazon pays a much higher affiliate. They pay 4%, and eBay pays half of the final value fee. And gigantic stores on eBay, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, they pay less final value fees than us. So we're a small store, so we pay the most final value fees. Big giant stores, Best Buy, Target, they pay less final value fees. So if I refer someone to eBay and they buy soap for $8, and the final value fee might only be 20 cents on $8, so we only get half of that, which is 10 cents. So is it worth it going through all that trouble to get 10 cents on a sale? Maybe not, but maybe I'll put Amazon deal of the day. I get 4% of that. They might buy a laptop. So, it's interesting thinking about how to do your marketing with your customer. Also, if you're thinking super long term, you do want them to continue to go back to your store. That's another reason why I would sell similar items, because if you sell random tchotchkes, there's really no reason for people to go back to your store. And then one more thought, you can get like a newsletter to people if you obtain their email address. So most of the sales on eBay, you can pull the email. I wouldn't necessarily contact them because there are rules for spam, but you can say, thank you for your order. Please add us to your favorite sellers if it goes all well.
Question from Tyson. Are you still sourcing today, or are you only listing your existing inventory?
Only listing existing inventory literally today, but I source twice a week. So that part of my business, I have not figured out how to outsource yet. So I'm buying in bulk in person. I have not found one company that I can order from and it doesn't suck. Like, it's very difficult to order inventory that's ready to list. If anybody knows any inventory like that can be reordered, let me know. I'm not looking for one-time deals. Like I said, I'm looking for deals that make $100,000 or more. So when I find a supplier, I'm like, can you supply me all year? Because that's worth $100,000. One-time deal, not interested, because that's just a one and done. That's like chasing a bolo, and I don't want to chase bolos. I think the people who, I mean, this is another aside, and I'm going to make a special video on this, but people who are in a hurry always burn out. Like, I'm no longer in a hurry. I figured that out. If you rush to do eBay, eBay will rush to eliminate you, because it doesn't work that way. You need to build something that's long lasting.
Question from A Vintage Mentality. For your higher end products, do you change the packaging? For example, use a box with tissue versus just a poly bag?
I don't. So exact same packaging. I've sold a lot of expensive stuff, and it goes in the same packaging. If it is a pair of shoes, it will go in a box if it's over $100, because it's going to the eBay authentication center. So in order to make it a good experience for the customer, I do want it to be double boxed, because it's going to 2 different destinations, which gives it a more chance to get damaged if it's not.
Question from Meat Sandwich. Hi Chris, when shipping shoes, do you offer a flat rate shipping, or does the price change depending on the weight?
I offer flat rate shipping of, so let's say I'm shipping these Jordan 4 golf cleats. I'm gonna ship these cubic, and I'm gonna put packing paper around this before I put it in the envelope. I'm gonna charge a flat rate of $8.99, which is very cheap, right? So I have that on all of my listings just to make it easier. So if I were a shoe seller, which I'm no longer a shoe seller, I'd probably charge $12.99, because I feel like that's an amount that somebody can kind of understand. But you know, obviously customers are looking for a deal too, so $9.99 might make customers feel like, wow, I'm getting a great deal with shipping. And yes, you would lose money every single pair. You'd have to make it up by charging a little bit more for the shoe, and understand that certain shoe categories, sorry for the alarm, certain shoe categories have up to a 40% return rate. So you have to be willing to understand, okay, if it gets returned for doesn't fit, I'm only going to get the amount minus $9, and let's say it's $14 to ship, $28 in shipping to the customer and back if they return it. Something to consider if you're selling shoes. Again, if you're going to do the shoe category, I recommend a lot more volume so that you can make up for all these returns.
Question from Oscar Mills. I promote some items at 28% just for testing purposes, and they get less views than similar items at 3 to 8% promoted. What's the best way to test promoted listings?
One listing at a time. I would recommend doing it at least for 1 month before you come to any conclusions. Actually, the best way to do it would be to do it for the year, so that you can get the full seasonality, because it's difficult, because in December, maybe you don't need to promote it at all because people are looking for it. If you have shorts, maybe you don't need to promote them in the summer. So you need to look at this on an annual basis. This morning I actually had a call with Resell Dojo, and everything that he said was, I look at it on an annual basis. I look at it as on an annual basis. That would be great. Imagine if you didn't worry about the small things until it was a year old. You will have forgotten it, because most things are small things. The big things though are really just picking your category, picking your lane, but nobody wants to do that. So it is pretty surprising, because in our group we have people who are up $100,000. I'm up more than $1 million. That sounds ridiculous, but from focusing, the trend is insane. If you just improve over a long enough period of time, I don't know where I heard that from, but if you just improve over a long period of time, you'll be unstoppable. But what happens is people take a break, they improve something, they take a break. So their graph goes up and down, and they just stay in this up and down their whole eBay career. But if you just slowly increase over time, a year later you're in a totally different place. So you don't have to go fast. That's why this eBay listing challenge is not about speed. So as an example, I'm listing these Legos, right? So this Lego set, I'm listing for $29.99 free shipping, because there's a lot of people selling this exact Lego set. So I'm hoping that $29.99 free shipping, because I'm top rated seller, they're gonna pick me. And I have this promoted at 0% because it's Lego. Lego is really popular, right? And this Lego Star Wars kit, or this lightsaber, is more rare. So this is gonna sell for $130. I have it listed at $139.99. So I'm actually gonna wait for all of them to sell out to get the extra $10 because I'm not in a hurry. But if you were in a hurry, I would price this Lego set at 100 and it would sell in one day. So you really have to think about what you want to price your items at. In a category like Lego that's super competitive, I probably would do free shipping. But if you're selling in rare, unique, used, I probably would charge for shipping because it's not going to stop the customer from buying it unless you're like in a really, really competitive category and you need that boost. So short answer, it's already a long answer, but if you do free shipping, you rank higher. Do you need the higher rank? You have to decide for yourself.
Question from Brady.
Yep.
Do they charge the customer tax on shipping or just the item?
Okay, this is exactly why I want to do the 100 listing challenge and go through the fees, because they charge the eBay final value fee on everything, on tax, on the entire amount, and on shipping. So all three of those. So most people don't understand that. So at the end of the day, when they get their money back from eBay, they're like, this seems a little bit less than I thought. Because if you saw a $200 item, this is how dramatic it is. $200 item where I live has $21 in tax. So you get hit with a 13% fee on $21 more. If your customer is in California and buys from you, you're getting hit with like maybe even $1 or $2 more in fees than other states. So you need to really understand that part. And for all of you that are listening right now, I don't know how many people are on the live, but please smash the like button so other people can find this content and if you find it useful. And also let me know in the chat where you are from.
People are wondering if we can get Harry Tornado as a guest.
Maybe. So I think he would like it. If he actually came here and looked at my shop, I think he would have a good time. I talk to Josh all the time. I remember when Josh was like, do you think between YouTube and reselling I could make a full-time living? He literally asked me that like not even 2 years ago. So he was asking me if he could make a living with both YouTube and reselling combined, and now both of them he can make a living. So that just goes to show he's one of the most consistent YouTubers, and that's really all you need. If you post regularly, your channel will grow, and I think you can do it all, but it is hard to balance multiple projects.
Question from Purple Sparkles. Hi Chris, do you just let eBay automatically renew good till canceled items instead of manually ending and selling similar after 30 days?
Yes, so I don't do the end delist relist because it just takes extra time. I would rather just price it right the first time. The oldest item in my store is less than 90 days old. So right now with 4,200 listings in my store, I'm selling a little over 50 a day. So I don't have that old of items in my store. Some items might last the full 3 months, but I'm pricing my items to move. I'm not interested in waiting a long time for my items to sell, although it depends. Your mileage may vary depending on what your goals are. Some people want to wait a year or longer to sell their items and they want every single penny. So for me, it just depends. Like, and a good example would be this pair of shoes. There's only about 40 of these golf shoes left on eBay. So right now in used condition, I'm selling these shoes for $365. If I wait a year, they'll be worth over $500 for sure, because there's just so few of these. Somebody's going to want these sneakers and there's only going to be one left, and it's going to be mine, and they're going to have to pay $500. So it depends on your risk tolerance and how long you want to wait. The delist, relist, and sell similar, all of that is a huge waste of time. So I wish that all of those people who did delist, relist, cross listing, all those people just join the group and they can figure out how different it is just selling on eBay only and not worrying about all these different platforms and constantly being distracted.
Question from G-Stop Studios. What's the furthest in terms of time have you driven to go source for your items?
That's a great question. I would say the furthest I have driven 5 hours. I've driven to LA to look for stuff, but I would prefer to get the stuff delivered to me, but I'm not there yet. You know, in my eBay journey, I have not figured out how to get inventory to come to me. So I am still driving around the Bay Area. So in the radius here is about 2 hours. I will drive all the way up to Sacramento, all the way down to maybe a little past Santa Cruz. So it depends on your vicinity. In my area, there are 200 thrift stores within an hour or two of here. The only issue would be traffic. So here, a 2 miles might take 17 minutes. So it depends on traffic patterns. But I personally don't like driving that much, and driving is like the leading cause of death for people that are young, so I try to avoid driving as much as possible.
Question from Wiki Domain. Hey Chris, when customers ask why they're paying $8.99 for a t-shirt, what do you say?
I say I have a make an offer. So you can offer $8.99 off and you'll get it for free shipping. So one of the reasons why I have best offer is so I can negotiate that part of it. If I didn't have best offer, I would be comfortable doing free shipping. So on my items, some of them I have free shipping because I don't have any best offer. So can't get cheaper than free. So for those customers, I'm expecting them to buy quickly, no negotiation, no back and forth. But if I'm going to charge $8.99 for shipping, 99% of customers don't care, and the ones that do will make an offer.
We have our very first channel member.
What's up?
Patricia Phoenix. Thank you so much. Okay, question from, let's see, TacJack Tom Curry. Is it okay to delist, revise, and then relist?
It is. We try to coach people to do it right the first time, but if it's not selling, go back, fix it, improve it, and then sell similar. So it's like, if you have a pile of crap, you can end the listing, fix it up, dress it up a little bit, and then relist it. If it's a crap item, it still won't sell. So it doesn't matter how much you improve it, nobody wants it. But if it's something that is a good item and you've just presented it as poop, you can go back and fix that, and then they'll buy it because you presented it incorrectly or for a price that's too high.
Let's see.
Let's do 5 more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question from Lopez. I resell shoes, Jordans. Is it
Yep.
worth it to resell on eBay?
Oh man, that is so right now eBay has the lowest fees in the sneaker category. I still sell a couple. I sold one today that did not get the final value fee. So previous to yesterday, there were 0% fees on the sneaker category for shoes over $100. Although if you are in the over $100 shoe category like me, you will still get lucky. I am sure eBay will miss some of those transactions and still make it 0. But I think 7% for store owners is cheaper than StockX, cheaper than GOAT, and eBay is doing its best to get the high net worth customers to eBay, to the point where even like Wall Street was asking, like, does eBay even care about the lower end customer anymore? And I don't know. It's something that I don't know if that's good or bad for eBay, but they're focusing on people with deeper pockets, better customers that return things less. So I don't know what you guys think. Should they focus on customers who don't pay all the time, have a high return rate, and buy really cheap things? Or should they spend more time like they're doing right now, going after the more wealthy customer that's going to pay immediately? They're not going to have any unpaid, and they're going to return items less. That customer is better, but they're also looking for a more premium item.
Question from Brian Phillips. Chris and team, love you guys. Have you used the sneaker authenticity system?
I have. So I sell all these sneakers back here are above 100 or 100 to 2,000. All those sneakers go through the eBay authentication system. I've had 2 errors. One, I sent in the shoe new without box and it got returned for, I'm sorry for this alarm. This is crazy. I sold a shoe new without box and they got returned because of no authentic box. So it's like, I said there was no box. The listing says no new without box. So I think it was confused by them because I put will ship in a replacement Nike box, and the box I sent it in was just blank. So I put the shoes in a blank box, a pair of Kevin Durant's in another box. It wasn't a replacement Nike box, which doesn't matter because it's not the original box of the shoe. That got returned. The other one, this is crazy. I had 2 similar pairs of shoes. I sent it to the eBay authentication. I sent the wrong pair. They authenticated the wrong pair of shoes and sent it to the customer. And the customer said, how can this happen? How can you guys authenticate the wrong shoe? So that ended up being, they refunded the customer their money. They paid for the return. I got the shoe back. So essentially, I got paid for eBay's error on that one, even though it should have been my fault. So twice I've had items returned to me. One was false. One was eBay's fault. One was my fault. Out of probably 200.
Another channel member. Hi,
What's
Tom
up?
Curry. Thank you for joining.
Yep.
We have a question from Camden Ramsey. Hi, Chris. Would
What's
you
up?
suggest accepting an offer on a newly listed item, or do you have a time frame to let the item try to sell for full price?
Oh, that's a great question. So for me, I have a range that I'm willing to accept. And if somebody presents an offer immediately, I will let it go. So it's just something that I'm comfortable with because I want to live another day. Get this item in, get another item in. I'm not worried about keeping it and getting, this is what I call all the money. All the money is waiting for a full dollar amount. If you want all the money, don't have best offer. Just put exactly what you want and wait for it to sell. That's a much easier, low stress life. You won't have to complain about low ball offers because you don't accept offers.
Question from Bozo Toys. I have multiple women's clothes missing tags. Size appears to be 16. Should I trash or sell?
That's a tough one because I list all the time based on measurements, but I prefer not to. So if you know a size 16 is a size small and you're familiar with the brand, maybe go for it. And if you have something else in your store, do it. Maybe go to that manufacturer website and compare if the measurements are accurate, but you are opening yourself up to a potential return. I have a negative feedback right now. Customer says, this is a size 26 too, but doesn't fit me like I want it to, right? That feedback will get removed because I did the best I could. How it's gonna fit on the person's body is up to them. I have free returns. So if you're gonna list women's clothing, I recommend free returns. So this is something that I wanna talk about for just a moment, which is on Poshmark, there's no returns. People like my wife will not shop on Poshmark because they don't like that. She's like, if I'm gonna spend all the money, I want all the customer service. If it doesn't fit, I wanna send it back. So she's not gonna shop on Poshmark. So Poshmark misses out on this higher end clientele. So I don't know if that's something that, I don't know if my wife's necessarily higher end, but she's like young professional woman and she prefers returns. So it just depends on what you're comfortable with, but I recommend giving the customer the best experience you can. We'll do two more.
Let's see, question from Ridden 6.
Yep.
Do you leave your clear polyblack slightly unzipped to prevent the trapped air inside the bags from taking up space in your inventory system?
Yes. So you can see here, all these bags are slightly open and it allows them to squeeze closer together to save space. You could squeeze them together and then zip them all shut and that would seal them all in that shape. But it's up to you. I can fit around 20 items per box. If it's mixed, if it's just shirts, it's 30. And if it's just pants, it's 19 or 18. So it depends, but yeah, the space wise, I recommend getting a little bit more space than you need. And as if you guys have been following me for a while, you've seen this new system go from 0 to this in maybe 2 or 3 months. And then in the next 6 months, it's gonna be pretty exciting because you guys will watch me walk from this unit to the other unit and it will look the same.
Another channel member, thank you.
What's up?
Melissa Douglas, welcome. Let's see, we have a question from Duncan VR. How do sellers find repeat buyers?
Okay, that's a great question. So we'll end on this question. Repeat buyers come from repeat similar items. So I don't think it matters if you have in your store handbags and vitamins. That's not two of the same thing, but if you always list new handbags and you always list new vitamins, people will come back to your store. You can also message them and say, thank you for your business. Send them a coupon right after. Thank you for buying a pair of jeans from me. Here's 20% off your next pair of jeans from me. I have new jeans every single week, new jeans every single day, new jeans every single hour. Get people to come back and check with you. But the main way to get repeat customers is sell the exact same thing over and over and over again. That's why on this channel, when I ask you guys to subscribe, it's because I want you guys to subscribe to content that's similar. If next week I do kitchen sink repair, you would unsubscribe because it's not related. So you want to have stuff that's similar. You want people to subscribe to your store, just like YouTube. And if you want to look at it, all these sites are the same. YouTube is an algorithm. I mean, a search algorithm. So is eBay. It's a search algorithm. So people want to save time. If you have the goods that people are looking for always, then they're going to subscribe to you. So I got to go, guys, because we're going to be filming a workout series, which is pretty interesting. I'm gonna do that because all of us work from home, and I recommend staying in shape the best that you can. That will also help your sleep. Somebody mentioned that earlier. So we're gonna record that series in here. I want people to stay in shape while they're working at home. Make sure you take care of your mental health, and that's gonna come from just taking care of yourself mainly. But appreciate you guys. Join our Patreon group. Take care.